Are you ready, sir?
Yes.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Hive.
Hello.
This is the Hive podcast. This is your host, Brian Wright, and I have my special co-host today, Brian Wright. What's up, dude?
Nothing.
So this is your first podcast ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how do you feel about being on the air with Dad?
I like it.
All right, cool. So you want to clarify who the killer bee in the family is?
Yeah. I am.
So the real killer bee is you.
Yeah.
So I told her last time when Jay was here, with those that weren't listening, our gym was not always killer bee. About 10 years ago, my wife was pregnant with you, little dude, and you were kicking and kicking and kicking. And I was jokingly calling you Killer B because you were going to be Brian Jr. And some people in the gym were like, yo, that's a cool name. And then we rebranded. So technically, you know, my gym, but it's really your gym.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mhm.
You're so talkative today. Literally, you talk my ear off all the time. And now you're, oh yeah, So what do you think about the gym?
I like it a lot.
But right now, like, what do you think about the gym? You've been around the gym since you were born. Like, you literally learned how to walk on our mats. So over the years, you've seen a lot of different things, and you've been training. How long have you been training now?
Like 6 years.
Yeah, you started training around 4. So you literally learned how to walk, and then you started to train on the mats. Got to keep that close to your mouth, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your favorite thing to train?
Kickboxing.
You like the kickboxing more than the grappling?
Yeah.
You're good at the grappling, though.
I know.
What's your nickname?
Backpack.
Why do they give you that name?
Because I take the back all the time.
Yes. So you're not the biggest 10-year-old I've ever met.
I'm small.
I'm not going to say you're small. You're just not the biggest 10-year-old. So the grappling's been good for you, though, because even when the bigger kids are attacking, you're able to take their back and control them.
Mm-hmm.
This conversation's going so well, Bright. You're mm-hmm-ing me.
What?
So why do you like kickboxing more than grappling?
I kind of don't know. I just enjoy it more.
Yeah. What's your favorite part, though? What do you like the most?
Kicking.
Do you like sparring? Do you like hitting pads? Do you like drills? What do you like?
Sparring.
Okay. Why do you like it?
I just like the idea of just like moving and punching and kicking with nothing stopping you.
You feel it's a challenge?
No,
No,
not at all.
not at all. Okay. So have you fought yet?
Yes,
Or-
once.
When did you fight?
In August,
What'd you fight in?
I fought in the WKA Nationals.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you fought there, and you want to talk about how we got there and what it felt like?
Yes.
Okay, so do that.
Okay. It was a very hard summer in practice. There was a lot of work put into that just for that about like 3.5 minutes.
So what was the difference between training before that and then training once we decided we were going to fight?
The difference was before that we were just doing it for fun, but after that, or when we were in training camp, it was more about the getting ready for the fight and getting stronger.
How did you feel about that? What was the difference for you?
The difference was it was a little bit more serious.
Did you like that?
Yes,
Why?
I just like the feeling of I'm training to go somewhere.
Okay.
That's kind of it.
You've seen so many guys fight. You've been to a lot of people's fights, and then you were able to do it yourself. What was that like?
It was very exciting because I was like one of them.
So what's your favorite fight that you've been to?
Besides mine,
Yes.
Hamdi's fight.
When we went to Virginia?
Yeah.
That was a pretty cool experience. When we went to Icon.
Yeah.
Now, talk about that, because that was really a neat That was a neat one. I get the Bad Parenting Award of the Year for that one. We stayed out way too late that night. We don't have to talk about all the things, but like talk about the fight itself. We went down there. We met Hamdi. You got to see me warm up with him. You warmed up too. Like we worked out today. Hamdi warmed up. We did all that stuff. You got to eat cool food in cool restaurants. We went to that one Japanese place. It looked like a video game.
Mm-hmm. Looked like place from Onimusha.
Yeah, it had all the kanji on the walls, and the food was really good, and that was cool. And we were in Richmond, Virginia. It was quiet. Remember how quiet it was?
Yeah, there was like no one out.
And then we went to the venue, and you actually were at Bo Nickel's last pro fight before he went to Contender.
Mm-hmm.
And then
his only fight.
Yeah, remember he knocked that dude out?
Yeah,
quick.
In like 15 seconds.
Yeah, and Dad wrapped his hands for that fight.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So you sat cage side. What was that like? That was kind of neat. You got to sit there. Who'd you sit with? What'd you do? Because that was a different experience.
I sat with the owners of Panini and opened up UFC cards with them on stream.
So, but I don't really understand how that works. So what do? They put you on what?
On camera, and they have a camera for their hands and their face, and and if people donate to them, and that's how you, and then they request what packs they want, and they open it, and whatever you get goes to them. They send it to them, and also you can buy for certain people.
So what do they call that? A card break or something?
Yeah, a card break.
Okay. And then didn't you get a lot of cards given to you?
Yes, I got a lot of money in cards.
So what was the big one you got?
I got a unreleased code card, and it came, and if you redeemed it, I got a
Wasn't that the Jose Aldo with the piece of his short?
No, it was signed by him, and it was his last signed card.
Yeah, I think by the time we walked out of there, you had over $3,000 in cards.
Yes.
That was pretty wild.
In one stack.
You literally got the cards you got were worth more money than Hamdi got for fighting that night.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. I remember, too, because I was nervous because you were by yourself at cage side, and you were there for a long time because we were supposed to fight on the undercard, and then last minute they threw us to after the main event, like on a dark fight, and I didn't know what to do because you were going to have to sit there for so many hours. And I remember I came down, and I peeked out, and you were like, no, I'm good. Leave me alone. And you were so in it. You were like sitting there. I mean, I think you sat there for like 4 hours, cage side, watching the fights, opening cards, hanging out with the guys.
Yeah.
So I think you had a good night.
That was a great night. And then after, you let me stay up until 2.
Yes, we did stay up very late. That's when we tried to take you to get food, and all the restaurants were closed. That was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
That was funny. So being able to go to fights like that, seeing backstage, sitting at cage side, seeing all that, did that help you when you were getting ready for your fight?
Yeah, I understood what was coming.
So do you feel comfortable in fights because you've grown up around it so much?
Yeah, I feel like it's just another round of sparring, just a little more important.
There you go. So you've been training for a while. It's something that's come very natural because you've been doing it since you basically can walk. So do you find what's the benefits from training for you? What do you feel that you get out of training off the mat?
I feel like that I'm stronger off the mat, and I can protect myself more. And also, I just feel better.
How so, though? Because there's a lot of kids out there that don't like to play soccer and baseball and football, and they're looking for something to do or trying to be a part of something. And, you're not a big fan of a lot of other sports. You have a lot of things you're into, and there's a lot of things you do. But training is that's your main sport.
Yeah, it really is.
So when other kids are playing soccer and baseball, you're going to MMA class.
Yeah.
So what's like? What do you get out of that though? Like, give me some insight in your head, boy.
I get I just feel that I feel like I'm stronger than them because I put more work in than them, and it's but also it can be a little hard because you don't do everything with the kids you're friends with.
So not everybody understands what it is you do.
Yeah, no one really understands.
You were telling me the other day, a lot of the kids, they think MMA is kind of like WWE.
Yeah, really, that's what they think.
Yeah, a lot of it too is a lot of people have a misconception that they think what we do is a violent sport. So a lot of parents aren't letting their kids watch the UFCs, like, and the kickboxing and the stuff that we do. Do you think MMA is a violent sport?
No, not at all. It's like baseball, basically. If say baseball, someone gets hit in the head, that's basically the same thing.
Yeah, it's just a sport like anything else, and it's a group activity like anything else. I wouldn't have my kids doing it if I didn't think it was safe for them. Because your brother does it too.
Yeah, and he's only 5.
Yes. What do we call Reed?
Wreck-It Reed.
I think he really did earn that name.
He really did. He was like 2 when he got that name because he wrecks everything.
He wants to be his brother. Like, he wants to do everything you do. So that's why at 5, he's able to go on the mat and do what he does. He just tries to be like you.
Yeah, he tries to be like me, but is different.
He's definitely different. You guys have different vibes, that's for sure.
Yeah, very different vibes.
So you're very helpful on the mat too. You help a lot of the kids. Do you like teaching?
I really like teaching. I feel like making kids feel or make them better from what they are and almost make them as close to me. Like we had Arturo, who has only been training for like a year and a half, and got to fight.
Yep.
Because I feel like I helped out a lot on that one.
Yeah, you guys really trained well together, and that's the team aspect of it that a lot of people don't understand. You might get into the cage or the ring by yourself, but it takes a whole group of you to get you ready for that, right?
Yeah.
So you see it with the adults, you see it at all the different levels. It's cool that you get to do it as a kid.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the people in the UFC didn't started but after they were kids, like they were like in their 20s, and I'm doing it, and they're very good, and I'm doing it as a 10-year-old, and I've been doing it since I was 4.
So what do you want to do with it?
I want to get better and make it to the UFC. I want to be the UFC lightweight champion of the world.
There you go. We don't know. You might get big. We're trying. We're feeding you. You have a lot of food allergies. It's a little bit of a challenge to feed you.
That's absolutely true.
So with the food allergies, you have to be disciplined. You have to make a lot of careful choices, and you have to pay attention to things. Do you think training helps you in terms of the discipline side of stuff?
Yeah, because then I understand that, or like I understand that I don't have to eat something even though I want to.
That's an important thing to have, is you got to be able to do the right thing no matter what.
And during my fight camp, the diet really didn't change that much. It was just the meals weren't as big, and they were never really that big.
Yeah, because we had to cut a little bit of weight to make that weight class, and then it didn't matter because we had to fight a weight class up, which was really crazy.
Yeah.
But I was really proud of you to see you as disciplined as you were. You didn't make a problem out of it. You're just like, you were a little happy warrior, and you just did what was asked.
Are we gonna go over why I went up a weight class?
You can go over why. You can tell why.
The reason why I went up a weight class was because the kid I was supposed to fight came 20 pounds over.
15. That's still 15 to 20. I mean, that was the most ridiculous thing ever. For kids, the difference, 15 pounds, I mean, that's like a whole nother kid at your age. I feel like the coaches didn't even consider what the kid's weight was. They made a guess and they said, whatever. The one problem with WKAs, I think it's a great organization that does it. I think they ran it really well. But one of the issues is they don't care if you miss weight. They just move the brackets around. And I don't think it gives anybody an incentive to do the right thing. Like, we literally modified the diet, did specific workouts, you sat in the cold plunge. We did so many things to make that weight, and we did that work. And honestly, for me with you, I think the discipline of doing it and going through that process was really important, and we took it seriously. The other side didn't take it seriously, so you ended up having to fight in a weird situation, but you still got to fight.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter if you win or lose at this level. We don't try to lose, but you're 10 years old. You've got your whole life ahead of you to do this. And we just want to get better, and we want to take on these challenges and deal with it. I mean, you literally, I mean, you were crying at the end of it. And I remember I looked at you and I was like, uh-oh. And I didn't know why. But then you're like, Dad, I'm crying because I'm so happy. You had tears of joy.
Yeah.
So explain that though. Like why, like what was it about this whole experience that made you so happy? I mean, you lost and you were excited.
I was in the moment and I didn't really care. It was I watched all the other people fight and then I was one of them at that moment.
Yeah, you were. You really were. You're a fighter now.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And it was cool too because the adult team was there because they were all fighting the next day and they were all in the crowd for your fight and your mom's there and your brother's there and I'm in the corner with you and it was really it was a lot of fun. It was rough. As your dad, the idea of my little guy fighting, that was rough. That was a lot of stress on me. I knew you were ready for it, but you never know someone's ready until you put them in, you see how they respond. And you tackled it. You never quit. You kept going. You literally threw everything you had into the moment, and that's all I ever ask of anybody. And it was really cool to see you do that.
Absolutely.
So, how do you feel now that it's over and you're back in class? How do you feel about training now? Do you look at training and the team and different? And do you look at it all differently than before you fought?
Yeah, I feel that training for a fight all the time, and I also feel that I can actually help a kid and get them to my level and get them to fight.
That's cool. So you can share it now.
Yes.
It feels impossible when you look at it sometimes, but then you do it and you realize, yes, it's hard. It's not the easiest choice in the world to make to do this as a sport, but it's doable. I mean, you're not going to break. You go out there, you do your thing. It's just like sparring every day. I mean, you get hit every day by the other kids. There's no such thing as Superman. There's nobody coming in with some magic that's going to break you. You go out there and do your thing, and you just deal with the stress and you move on.
Yeah. It really doesn't. The stress was the hardest part about the fight. But once you get in, for me, once I got in, it was that's when it got easier, and then once the first round started, it really became like just another round of sparring.
And then you came back after the first round. We adjust. We go back out. I'll never forget. You were going to try and tell me you were tired or something, and you're like, "Nope, I'm fine. I'm going back, and I'm good." And you were just hungry for it. You just wanted to go.
Yeah, that's what I like to do.
I remember Arturo I think Arturo had the first fight on the day.
Yeah,
And
he was very early.
Yeah, and I was nervous because you guys are my first group of kids that I've put into this event. I've usually only taken adults. And so to have you and Arturo and Odin, and Arturo being the first one, the nerves in me, I was like, oh, did we do this summer right? Did we train right for this? Are these kids prepared? And then when Arturo went out and then, he really threw it out there. He did amazing. And then Odin went out and he did amazing. And then you went out and you did amazing. It made everything kind of make sense for the summer. And I felt, forget about it as your dad, just as a coach, I felt very good about what you guys did and how you came together. And I feel that having that experience together, the three of you, it's a different bond. I mean, it's not like you have to hang out outside of the gym, but you guys created a real team in it. And I feel it's like it's beyond friendship. You're now teammates.
Yeah, it was like beyond best friends.
Yes. You guys got to do something the first time together. That was pretty special.
We all experienced the same thing.
Yep.
And I felt that was very helpful. Like I felt like they had my back.
Yep, and they sure did. They fought early in the day, and then you fought
at 7.
At 7, and they all hung out all day, and they all waited for you, and they all stayed, and they cheered you on the same way you cheered them on. It was really cool. So in the gym, now that you've been through all these things, you've been around the adults training, you've been to the fights with the adults, you've been there with me for this, you've done it yourself now, and you're in there. And what do you see for what we have going on in the gym? Like, how do you see things? So you've been there 10 years, you've seen a lot of different people come and go, you've seen a lot of people. How do you feel about the state of the gym right now?
I feel like it's at its best. People are like fully committed. Jay has a whole tattoo of the bee.
Jen got one too.
Yeah, they all are very committed to it, and I feel like that's important. If you just had two people and they were committed, that would be good too.
Yeah, it doesn't matter as long as we're all on the same path together, right?
Yeah, you've gone a long way with them.
Yeah. So I feel like we're just beginning with most of the people, and it's pretty cool. What do you want to see for the school going forward? Like, what do you, when you see how classes are and you see what's going on, are there changes you want to see? Are there growth you want to see? What do you want to see going forward?
I want to see everyone improving and the growth of the gym. I feel like that it's the people that are there are going to bring people,
Yeah,
and I feel like that's how we're going to expand and grow a bigger team.
that's true. And the cool part about the team is it's not just fighters, it's just all the people that train.
It's fighters all the way to just someone that works in an office.
So you watch a lot of fights.
Yeah, I
What
watch
what's your favorites to watch?
UFC.
Who's your favorite fighter in the UFC?
Don't know.
You don't know.
Um, Hamdi right now. When he comes back.
Because that's our guy. So, what's your favorite fight you've seen this year?
Um, when
You know, that's a hard one. You've seen so
yeah,
many. It's like
there's
every Saturday there's a fight.
and every Saturday there's always one really good knockout.
Yeah. So, you like to watch the knockouts more than anything?
No, I like to watch the overall and how the person that or like how they moved and stuff. That's something I like to see also.
So, you don't just watch it to watch people hit each other, you actually are learning from it.
Yeah, the more you watch, I feel like you can get better from that.
Out of all the different fight shows, which is your favorite one? So like Bellator, UFC, one. What's your favorite one?
UFC because I feel like that's where the best is, and I feel like that's also where the most improvement happens.
I also think they have the best production. I think they have the best looking broadcast. I
Yeah,
think they do the best job.
all the other ones look like you watched it in 2010.
Wow, you throwing it down today. Who's got to up their game?
Bellator.
Bellator. Yeah. I think Bellator is going to get sold to the PFL and go away. I think we're just going to have the PFL and the UFC as the top dogs in the United States now.
EFL is good too, but I feel like one also has to improve.
I'm not a fan of one's broadcast. I don't like the announcer. That guy, oh my God, he like over announces, and then the commentating is weak. They really, I don't know. I don't like the look of the broadcast. It looks like the lighting's off. The cage doesn't look right. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan.
Um, but Bellator and one are probably the worst for me.
Yeah, Bellator is hard to watch sometimes. There's some good fights, but I think broadcast wise is not good.
Yeah.
So
Quality.
Showtime, who shows Bellator, they're stopping their sports division this year. So after December, there will be no more boxing or MMA on Showtime. So that's
That's
why Bellator is going to have to figure out what it's going to do. It's either going to get sold, disappear, or go to a new partner. I don't know, but I think PFL is going to buy it. To be honest,
that would make sense.
and PFL is on ESPN, and so is the UFC, and the broadcast quality of PFL is a lot better. But we have some guys that are looking at possibly going there. I don't have anything set in stone, but there's possibility some of the guys in the gym can go there.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, what is the fight that you're looking forward to?
Um, the next WKAs, I feel like I can improve a lot. And when I end up there, I feel like that's gonna be a big improvement from my first fight to my next.
So you think that's going to be your summer challenge every year now?
Yeah, cause I didn't know that I was gonna be fighting in like September of last year, but now I know that I'm gonna be fighting, so I feel like I can train at my best all year.
So what do you feel like you need to work on?
Um, Keeping my hands up a little bit more,
Okay.
and um, just movement a little bit more. I've been doing a little too much movement recently, but
Okay.
I feel like those are my two big ones.
What was the thing that surprised you the most about stepping in there and fighting?
Um,
The thing that you didn't expect or you thought would be very different?
I thought what would be very different was I just thought the setup was like, or just like the way it. I thought the rounds were going to be a lot longer. They were only a minute and a half.
That goes quick.
Yeah, that was like that's not even close to one round. We do.
Yeah.
We do 3 minutes, two
Yeah.
minutes.
So, but besides the rounds, like, is there anything else? Was it the contact, the quality of the other kids? Like, how it felt? Like, where anything that you were like, no, this is, I'm good. And then you got there and was like, wait a minute, this is a lot different than what I expected.
I thought that the other big ones were the kid. That was like the first person I sparred with that was actually close, or that was like the closest person to my weight I've ever fought
Mm-hmm.
or sparred with or something. Fought, yeah. Um, and I felt that the, I thought the ring was gonna be a little bit bigger because the our cage is pretty big.
Yes, we have a UFC size cage. These you fought in an 18-foot ring compared to a 28-foot octagon. So, but we are working on moving to a new facility, and we are going to get a boxing ring in there when we do, and you'll have more experience being in the arena in which you're going to fight then. So that'll help out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what would you think about watching the other guys fight?
Um, uh, Odin and Arturo I watched fight, and I felt that the they were very brave about it. They didn't Arturo definitely was he was you can see he was very upset and then just sucked it up and made it through it and didn't quit.
He was scared out of his mind.
Yeah.
I remember I said to him in between the first, second round, I said, "You good?" Because he was crying, and he was like, "I'm fine." And then he realized that he could do it, and then he just started going. But he was scared. I mean, it's a scary thing to realize you're about to get in there in front of all those people, and you gotta throw down with someone you never met before.
I think Odin also he was doing good, but he had to keep his hands up. So we all did.
Yep.
It's
The little things.
yeah, it was definitely the stress stuff part of it was kind of like setting us off a little, but by the second and or last round, they both kind of got it together.
Yep. So the more you do things, the more comfortable you get.
Yeah, after a minute and a half, you get comfortable.
Yeah. So all that stress you had leading up to it, you realize it's like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe I shouldn't freak out so bad. You
Yeah.
can't take it lightly. You can't act like it's not a big deal because it kind of is a big deal. But you can't get so crazy that you lose your effectiveness, right?
Yeah.
Could you imagine what some of these adults feel like when they got all this stuff on the line? Like when these guys go to Contender Series and they're fighting for a UFC contract? Could you imagine how much stress they're under?
I can't really imagine that, but if I try to, I can definitely. Like, I was stressed in the beginning, and I feel like that would be like 3 times, maybe like 100 times
Yeah.
scarier because that's their job.
Yeah, and their job's on the line. Like the dream they have of going to the biggest show in the world is sitting there right there. It's theirs to take or theirs to lose. And the thing is, it's the same as what you experienced where you have all that stress and all that anxiety because you don't know if you're ready and you're thinking of what it's going to be. But then when you get out there and you do it, it ends up being exactly what you trained to do. And then you just got to hope that all that stress didn't, take your legs away or kill your cardio or deplete you so bad you can't keep going.
Um, by the beginning of training camp and at the end, um, my cardio and everything was so much better. I could it was easier
It was
to
like,
do a lot more.
we killed you. We
Yeah.
killed you. We made very hard workouts.
Yeah, it was stayed half an hour after class or an hour extra work, and that's what it gets you.
But do you understand why dad trains you to not quit? Why it's so important to do the hard things?
Yes, I can see that.
Because that was no. Could you imagine if you trained less?
Yes, I can imagine that.
It would have been terrible.
Yeah.
You were tired and had to fight hard. And could you imagine if you weren't prepared? Then you would have died in the first round instead of being able to do 3.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we have to understand you can't play this when you want to be competitive with it. Because the reality is you can get hurt out there if you're not prepared, or you could have such a bad experience you're not going to want to do it again.
Yeah, a lot of people do want to do it, but when they end up doing it, it goes the other way because they thought it was going to just be easy or it was going to be too hard, and then it ends up being. Then they make it hard almost for themselves.
So you have to accept it for what it is, right?
Yeah.
That's an important lesson. And at 10 years old, that's a really big lesson to learn.
Yeah, they're at 10 years old. There's nothing like that. You that feeling you really don't have until you're there.
So again, like, where do you feel? How do you feel about yourself and the things you like in life and the things you do? Do you get confidence out of this? Do you understand who you are a little bit more because you've pushed yourself? What benefit do you feel that training, competing, these things have had for you?
It definitely makes me get more confidence, and also it just makes me feel stronger than. But before that, I didn't think I was able to do that before that fight.
Again, you're not the biggest kid, but that doesn't matter because you still do this massive amount of work, so that helps you.
Yeah, definitely not on the tall side or the average sides. Right below average. So,
But your effort's super.
yeah, my effort's probably 10 times more than the average kid.
So do you like the fact that you push that hard?
Yes, I really do like it.
I know I see that with you is you like the idea of that you can push yourself. You do enjoy being able to push yourself, and you do being able to say, I haven't quit and I've gone. It comes down to your writing, your artwork, your video game playing, everything. And now with schoolwork too, we've been talking about that too. You have to be organized and focused on your schoolwork the same way you are with your training, because you are smart enough to get good grades, and you have to apply the same discipline you do in the gym. You have to apply it on your schoolwork too now.
Yeah, it's still the beginning, but my grades have gone up since I've got my stuff together, and that's good.
That is good. We talk about that, is that you have to get more organized at times, and you really have to stay focused, because you're not going to get punched in the face if you get a math problem wrong, but but it has its own negative effect. And we try to train, do the work, focus on the lessons so that we don't make those mistakes, right?
That's everywhere. Yeah, you gotta focus and apply yourself to everything you want to do.
So you're really committed to writing and your artwork. You are always making these stories and these creative things. Uh, how does that fit into the mindset you have because of all this?
it kind of I think more about everything because writing and drawing makes me I think a lot about it. Like I spend um like a lot of my off time thinking about that stuff.
Are you inspired by the guys in the gym?
Yeah, I am inspired that they don't give up. They don't quit. They even if they lose something, they lose a fight, they keep going and they don't stop.
You've been able to see some big things too. I mean, you've seen guys come in that were nobodies and make it all the way to the UFC level. You've seen people come in and their careers weren't doing great and they've risen to like super high levels and big shows. You've seen people, make it to UFC, to Bellator, to Contender, to Glory. You've been able to watch shows, see me in the corner. You've seen the guys that you're sitting on the sidelines watching train and then you see them fighting these shows. What's that like? That's not normal. There's not a lot of kids that get to have access to a high level sport like this.
Um I even see you like you don't give up on like if someone doesn't do well and you don't give up on them that you keep helping them out and stuff.
You know my rule. As long as you're still in the fight and you're trying to do better for yourself, I'm always going to be there for you. That's my number one rule. If you're not trying to help yourself, it's very hard for me to take time away from you and your brother and your mother and the other people in the gym. So my rule is really clear. If if you care to take my instruction, if you care to let my experience be a benefit to you and you're going to continue to work to better yourself, I'll always be there for a coach for you. It's you when you stop, when you go backwards instead of forwards with stuff and you don't communicate that I have a problem. And I'm very fair about stuff that way. I'm
Yeah.
fair with you with that way. As long as I really like again, you it's not the wins and the losses, they come and go. I really care about how you approach it, what you learn from it, what your effort is for it. And we're very clear on that. And you're actually a huge help in the kids class because you communicate that to the other kids as well.
Yeah, even today I after I sparred earlier so when my arm was a little I helped out today. So yeah, and I feel that like when I do that, I can really improve everyone else, and I feel like spreading that to even the. I feel like then I spread that to them, then they spread it to other people. People.
Yeah, it's not about you. It's not about me. It's about all of us, that are coming together to do this. That's the important part. I think that's the most important thing. And as your father, the most important message I try and give you and your brother. I don't know if your brother really gets it. I don't know if he gets it.
I
But,
don't either.
but he is a little young. He's a little young. But helping uplifting other people, understanding that people are paying attention to you, living in a way that's going to inspire people to be better, not worse. That's the important part.
Yeah.
We don't want to be the one that inspires people to do bad things or to pull somebody off their path. We want to motivate people to do well. And it's not about, who's doing better or best or any of that stuff. It's just that everybody has to be doing their best and everybody has to be moving forward. And as long as they're doing that, it's finding happiness and satisfaction in that. And from the beginning with you on the mat, you will always have been very, very good at welcoming new kids, helping people get through stuff. You've always demonstrated an enjoyment in helping other people. And, that makes me really proud as your dad. I really enjoy that the most. Like the winning and the losing and the fighting, that's great. It's cool. That's the, glorious battle stuff that we get to share. But it's really the work you do helping the other kids that matters so much. And even your brother. I mean, your brother's a complete pain in the ass. And you are just such a huge help in getting him to understand what we're trying to achieve, So that's the thing with me is like that's what makes me most proud of all this and motivating the other kids for that.
Even though we get mad at each other all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, it gets a little messy sometimes, but that's all right. But Dad's got a lot going on, and sometimes you move a little too slow.
Yeah.
Why does it take you an hour to get your shoes on when you have to leave? I don't know what this is. Mom shows up to get you and is like, all right, let's go. And then it's 20 minutes later and you have like one sock on. What's the problem here?
Oh, your feet get sweaty and then it's hard to get the socks on.
It really takes that long to get your socks and shoes on. You're going to say it's sweaty feet. It has nothing to do anything else.
Also, I like talking.
I can say that is 100% true. Besides training, besides fighting and training and all that, what's some of your favorite stuff?
Outside of training,
Yeah.
I like reading.
What do you read?
I read comic books and a lot of history books.
You read a lot of manga too.
Yeah, a lot of Dragon Ball and Naruto.
Why do you like that? 'Cause we've talked about this, but there are a lot of people out there that like those stories as well. But so what's the thing? Because so many people get like crazy about it.
I feel like a resemblance, like what I do. I feel like a resemblance me not giving up because that's basically what all the characters do. Even though it gets stupid how they get their like head ripped off and then they still fight back and are. And
Like
then
if I walk through these stories, like the Itachi story, like if we go through the Itachi story, if you do the notes on it, it's such a brutal, horrible story. But you're like, yeah, it's really inspiring. But like it's two brothers that kill their family and kill each other, and it's really insane. But you always come out of this with some kind of message from it, which I always find interesting. I never got into it. I haven't read it myself, so I don't understand it fully. But you and even a lot of the adults in the gym, they read the manga stuff and they are like, no, it's really inspiring. It's overcoming odds and challenging stuff, and they do it in a way with like cool pictures and
a lot of people watch the anime too.
yeah. But the stories are really out there.
Yeah, they get deep and they get very fantasy also.
Yeah, but what's your favorite part about that? What's your favorite part of it besides, I mean, I know you like the artwork and stuff, but why do the stories keep pulling you in?
Oh, it's like you never reach the climax. It's just like you keep getting higher and higher, low, high, 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 low, low, low. There's never there's never that like super exciting part until the end. And some shows really haven't even like One Piece hasn't made that, and it's been running for 20 years with over 1,000 episodes out.
That's really crazy. There's not enough time to watch them all.
I think there's over 800 hours in it, maybe more.
I think you've tried to watch most of that.
I tried, but then I started reading the manga, and that's easier. Because
Okay.
then I get to basically read anime in school.
What's your favorite comic book?
Uh, um, I really like Batman and I really do like and then Spider-Man's good too.
Why do you like Batman?
Um, he's cool. He
But,
likes black.
but why is he cool though? What's cool about Batman? We've talked about this.
He wears black.
Besides his color choices.
I think the universe is cool and like all the characters. Like I'm being Scarecrow for Halloween today.
Yeah,
Or
you're gonna.
not today, or soon.
So you remember the year you were Ghost Rider?
Yeah, that was I was in kindergarten 5 years ago already.
That's amazing. And your mom, she went. That makeup was special.
Yeah.
The jacket, you got a leather jacket, you had the chains, you had your hair straight up, you had the face paint on. That was an epic Halloween costume.
I had orange hair.
Yep. And then I think that and the samurai are your two best so far. You gonna top it this year?
Yeah, last year was really good too though.
Yep.
Overall.
Yeah, that last year, like as a family, we had a good one.
Yeah, that was the best family one because the rest of them, you were away or your costume didn't fit.
I know. Too many fights in October have been pulling me away. I remember the one year we had the fights at Madison Square Garden, and I literally had to come back from New York. We went trick or treating, and then I had to hop back in the car, go back to New York. Oh my God, that was crazy.
You went trick or treating with me for like 5 minutes.
And then went back. I know.
We went to 3 houses and you left.
Are you trying to make me feel bad?
Kind of.
Kind of are. So it's winning. So what do you think though? I've traveled a lot. I disappear a lot of times for these fights. I've missed a lot of first days of school.
You've missed almost all of them.
I know. Um, what is that? What is that like?
It's not always fun, but it's cool because I get to see you on TV.
So you're gonna forgive me for these things?
Yeah, I always do. And but I stop talking to you for a few days, and then I'll start talking to you.
Yeah, when you were really little, you it would take you a while. What about there was that one stretch?
No, it was when you went to Russia.
No, what about the time I had to go to California and then I had to go to Vegas right after it and I was gone for like 2 weeks? That was the one I came back and your brother, he was so mad at me. He
You
was
yelled at
so
you.
mad at me. Oh my God, that was a rough one. That hurt. That was hard for me. I that was rough being away from home for that long and not seeing you guys that was really hard.
That was like 2.5 weeks.
I know, but it felt like a year. It felt like forever. Oh my God, that was a rough one.
Yeah, that was a tough one for us too.
Yeah, but we always make it back. And then too, last year you got to go to Vegas, so you got to go see where Daddy does a lot of work.
Yeah, that was cool.
What'd you think about Vegas?
I think it's very bright and awesome.
So I took you to Extreme Couture, and you got to see a pro practice there.
I saw Sean Strickland.
Yeah, I know. He's the champ now.
Yeah.
You saw Strickland. You saw Dan Ige. Roman Dolidze was there. Chris Curtis was there. There were so many. King Casey was there. Yeah, there were so many people. That was a fight week too, so that was there was a lot of people in town for that. But that was cool. You got to see that kind of gym. When you looked at their practice versus our practice, what'd you think?
Like I like ours more.
Why?
Um,
Because it's ours.
yeah.
But that's the one thing I always try and tell people too. I say when you get out and you see this stuff, you've been out, you've seen you've seen high level back rooms, you've seen these guys do this stuff now too. It's no different than what we do day in and day out. When you're operating at a high level, we're all kind of doing variations of the same stuff. It's just some people have bigger, prettier places to do it, than others. But I think what we do on the mat is equal to the majority of the stuff that we see out there. It's just having access to, more bodies and stuff at these bigger gyms that makes a very big difference for them. But I like the way we do it. I like the people we do it with. I feel like we have opportunity to have success for a very long time.
I feel like the people we have, we can bring them to very high levels.
I agree with you. Are you going to be there for that?
Yeah, I'm gonna be there for the whole thing.
Are you gonna be my assistant coach?
I always have been.
You've always had an opinion. You've always had something to say with these guys, and you've always been there, and you've always been supportive. That's for sure. So, I mean, a lot of these people feel like almost part of the family because we spend so much time with them.
Yeah, every Thanksgiving we'll invite someone over.
That is true. That is true. Some people need places to go because their commitments have them in a lonely place sometimes. So we got to open the doors for all of them. That's the way it's got to be. But yeah, I mean, I think it's been cool because you've been able to travel. You've been able to see a wide range of different people. You've been able to, go from being in our gym in Oakhurst to following these guys to shows that are being put on TV and all this kind of stuff. It's a different experience. There's not a lot of kids that get to do these things and do them the way that you're getting to do them. You're not going and sitting in the crowd. You've actually been able to go backstage and see how it's done.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of I've seen a lot of fighting associations.
You remember when we went to cowboy fights?
Yeah, that was the first fight I went to, and I had really good Mexican food.
Yeah, we got food in the middle of the night on that one too. That was fell asleep. I remember I didn't because I was working at the show that day. I didn't have a seat, and somebody gave us their seat because you fell asleep on me, and they saw me holding you for so long. And then we went and sat down in the crowd, and then you woke up when the show was over. You were so young then.
I was about 4.
Yeah, you were really young then.
I was just turned 4.
Yeah, and then What did we watch? We watched Star Wars on the hotel TV.
We watched
Wasn't it Star Wars?
it was The Phantom Menace. We watched
Yeah.
yeah, that one.
Yeah. In your favorite state. For some reason, we always go to Virginia for fights with you.
And it's my favorite. It's one of my favorite places in the world right now.
Richmond was fun. We did have a good time there.
I got good jelly donuts.
You did. You really did. Hamdi fed you well. And
Good Japanese food.
yep. Yep. The Vegas one for me, to be able to go out there was cool because, that particular year I had been to Vegas like 6 times that year. And then to end it, to be able for all of us to go right before Christmas and to be out there was awesome. And then we went to Meow Mart at Area 51.
That was a crazy one.
That was pretty weird. That was a wild whole setup, wasn't it?
Yeah, it took a turn.
What did you think about? We went to that the Infinity. We did that Infinity thing. The guy from Blue Man Group created.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, that was trippy.
Yeah, that was probably one of my favorite things I've done. That was a lot of fun. I like that.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part of Vegas? Did see the Beatles show.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah, because we're big Beatle fans, right?
Yeah, Cirque du Soleil was awesome.
Yeah, that was cool. That was one of the main motivators because we weren't sure if they were going to stop the show because the Mirage is getting turned into a Hard Rock. We didn't know if it was going away, so we were like, damn, we got to go now.
I think the Cirque du Soleil I think the hotel's open or it's closing now, and I think they stopped the Cirque du Soleil recently.
And got in at the right time. So now,
Yeah.
So if you were going to go back to Vegas, what do you want to see next time?
I want to see O.
You want to see O?
Yeah, it's basically
The water one.
Yeah, it's basically just a human fishbowl.
Yeah, that is true. I want to see the Sphere also.
I want to see that.
That looks amazing.
Yeah, it's I just want to see it. I don't even care if I go in it or not. I just want to see the outside.
Yeah, when we were there last time, it was still under construction. It just looked like a big ball, but yeah, that's got to be pretty amazing. And then that one guy. So we go to MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art. You like that place?
A lot. I like that a lot.
And they have that AI art by Rafik.
That stuff gets weird.
So the Sphere in Vegas, now he has his artwork being projected on there as well. So that thing we saw in the city, they literally do a version of it over the whole ball.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that would be pretty crazy to see.
I want to see the inside of it,
I know.
but not as much as the outside.
I want to see a concert. I mean, I know not everybody in our house loves U2, but I think being able to see U2 in the first concert in there would be pretty wild.
It's just Mom and Reed that don't want to see it. You and me.
We definitely need to see it. Tickets are so damn expensive. We got to make friends out there. Yeah, I want to go see the Sphere. I do want to see O as well. And then being able to go see a fight at the arena by the hotel, the T-Mobile Arena, that would be a great thing for you to be able to see a fight out there.
That would be a awesome one.
Yeah. So maybe when Hamdi is back in action, maybe we'll get a Vegas card instead of it being at the PI. Maybe it'll be one of the T-Mobile cards.
Yeah, I want to see that. I have never been to both of them.
You haven't seen Hamdi in a while now.
I haven't seen him for a little longer, maybe
9 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big guy has been back in Egypt.
In his home.
Yep, in his home, seeing his kids for the first time in a while because he got stuck. He wasn't able to travel. But he should be back in action in July. So he'll be back soon. And he's all pumped because he wants to be in your brother's corner for his fight. He thinks Reed is a small version of him. So, and I don't really disagree. I think they are very, very similar.
Their fighting style is pretty much the same.
Yes, I will agree. I remember the one day Hamdi was so excited to see Reed, and then he threw him, and I thought he was going to throw him through the roof. He threw him like 10 feet in the air. And I was like, oh my God. I thought he was going to kill Reed that day. But
he's going to die.
Oh my gosh. That is a big, scary man. Hamdi is a big, scary man.
Jimmy is too. He's just short.
Jimmy is short, but Jimmy is definitely scary. But they're like two different kinds of scary.
Yeah.
Where Jimmy's like freestyle wrestler scary. Hamdi is Greco wrestler scary. Where Jimmy's gonna shoot on your legs, Hamdi's gonna throw punches and try and suplex you
He's just gonna hammer you, fist you until you're on
until
the
you quit.
ground.
So I think Hamdi's fight you were at, was that bare knuckle or was that gloves? No, that was gloves, right?
Yeah.
That was gloves. He fought the guy he beat in bare knuckle.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then beat him in the first like 30 seconds.
I don't know if I've ever seen anyone be so affected by a punch like that. He hit that dude with a jab, and when that guy went down, I thought he was faking, and then when I looked, his eyes were all rolling, and he was gone. He couldn't even remember getting hit.
Yeah, like when he was talking to Hamdi, he like had like no idea what just happened. He just knows he was knocked out and nothing else.
Yeah, he couldn't believe he got hit that hard. That was pretty wild.
His
So
whole face was like a muffin.
we drove all the way down to Virginia for Hamdi to throw like one punch.
Yeah, it was and
But
What-
hey, he got in the UFC off that punch, so
But he
it was
wasn't-
worth it.
what it wasn't aired, was it? It wasn't.
No, it didn't matter, but we got to see it. We were there. We were
Yeah.
live. And then he went to the UFC, so it was worth it. And then he had to
Yeah.
lose me again because I had to go to Dallas for a week. That year, Hamdi fought 5 or 6 times in 6 months.
And those were his first fights with you.
That was his first fights. He's only as a professional. We did all of our pro fights together in a year.
And he's 6 or 5-0.
Yeah, he's 6-0. 6-0. 6 wins in like 6 months. It's insane.
1-0 in UFC.
1-0 in the UFC.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he beat a guy who was in the top 15 in his debut on 12 days' notice.
That is crazy.
Yep. But that's what we do. That's what we train for. You got to be ready all the time. That's what we talk about. That's the mindset we got to have all the time. You got to be ready.
Definitely.
You feel that you're living that way? You ready to go at all times?
I feel like I could fight anyone all the time. Any day of the week.
I'm making a monster out of you. But
Even Fridays.
it sounds so bad that you say these things to a person that doesn't understand who you are. But you're one of the nicest, most caring kids I've come across in life. Let alone, I know your mind, and I feel that differently, or I might look at it differently. But you're such a caring kid. I think fighting is like the last thing. That's the last solution to a problem I would ever see you have.
Yeah.
You're not the one to throw your fist, even though you can. You don't because it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's not worth really hurting a kid until he tries hurting me.
Yeah, you got to defend yourself. We don't attack. We're not a bully.
We don't start the fight, we end the fight.
Okay, those are the words. That's a T-shirt right there. We talk a lot about how there are kids that don't really understand stuff, where you get kids that are a little bit more of a bully, right?
Yeah.
And having the confidence to stay yourself, having the confidence to not have to throw hands with them, but just stand your ground and not allow them to ruin your day. For a kid that's out there that may be having a tough time, what kind of advice would you give a kid that's struggling with other kids?
Try and not so much fit in with them, more just like instead of trying to be one of them, try and just not like engage with them as much. Just unless and if they can't protect themselves at all, that's something that you would come to the gym for and learn.
We talk about a lot, though, that you can't allow other people with bad opinions that don't understand who you are. You can't allow those things to change you. Like, you don't stop liking what you like or doing what you do or wearing what you wear or just being yourself because somebody is unfortunately just not seeing you in a positive way for who you are.
Yeah, I sometimes get made fun of for the stuff I like, and then just I laugh. I laugh. I really just, and then I
Because you have confidence in who you are.
yeah, and then if I get made fun of what I wear, I just wear it as much as I can.
So that confidence is so important. And I think that a lot of the experience, the broad experience you've had has given you that confidence because you've had the ability to do different things and you've seen so many people at different levels really just being who they are. Being a fighter is not a normal fight life is not a normal life. And you see a lot of these guys that are they're choosing to follow a difficult road and they're doing their thing. And I see it in you that, the adversity side of it, making things hard, it doesn't stop you from wanting to still do stuff. You don't quit easy.
Yeah, I don't quit easy at all. If I'm going to quit, I won't quit. Or if I feel like I'm going to, I make myself not feel like that. And I'll push myself to the absolute max.
True. I've seen it. I have definitely seen it. You push yourself to the point and it's hard to recover sometimes. So we've been talking for a while. So let's do this. Let's get to the last what message do you have for the Killer Bee community and then people that are not Killer Bee that are looking from the outside in? What's a message that you have for everybody?
Keep if you love what you do, keep doing that. Cause if if someone doesn't like what you're doing and they want you to stop, don't listen to them because you like it. That's your thing. You don't gotta be their thing. You gotta be your thing. Like I don't. I like certain things, and if someone else doesn't like those things, really, and they don't like how I like it, that's too bad for them.
So if they don't appreciate you for who you are, it doesn't bother. It's not gonna stop you from being who you are.
It's never going to stop me.
It's important, man. That's important. You got to be who you are, right?
Yes, you
A-
always be who you are.
And then we train. Some people think we train to fight, and that's why they think it's this violent thing. But ultimately, what you just said is exactly what we train to do so that we have the confidence to be ourselves every day and live this life by our own terms, right?
Absolutely.
You have to still do good at the challenges ahead. You don't, you're not going to screw up school and that stuff, and you're not going to ignore other opportunities because you happen to do this thing. You're just going to take the attitude in which we do it and you're going to apply it to these things.
Yes.
So you're struggling in school a little bit, and then we figured out how to get organized, and then you're turning your math around in literally like a week by just looking at it differently.
Yeah, I was in the 70s and now I'm in late 80s or
High 80s,
high 80s.
and we're gonna be in the 90s by Thanksgiving, right?
Absolutely.
All right, because you want those V-Bucks.
I really want V-Bucks right now.
What's your favorite game?
Spider-Man 2 right now, but overall, that's a hard one. I really like Onimusha 2.
Oh man, the throwback. You started playing Fortnite because your friends play Fortnite.
Yeah, it's definitely not my favorite game. Not even my top 20.
But you do like playing it with the other kids, and you do,
Yeah.
and your brother likes to play it with you.
Yeah, it's the playing with people makes it fun.
So everything we do, we gotta make sure we bring other people into it.
As a franchise, I'm gonna go say Call of Duty right now. That's a great franchise. But no, it goes Onimusha Call of Duty.
Okay, I can live with that. I'm kind of in the same boat. On that. I may agree with you. I think the old Onimusha. I think they ruined it with the last game.
Yeah, we're getting Onimusha. The TV show is coming out November 2nd.
Yeah, I hope that if they make another game, I hope they make it more like the original.
Yeah, Musashi. That's who is going to be the main character.
Yep. So we love our Japanese stories, don't we?
I love them. And also history is the best subject in school.
Yep. You got to know where you come from to better inform yourself for where you're going. So, final thoughts, sir.
My final thought currently is I'm gonna go eat dinner. Actually, I'm eating lunch.
Yeah, we're eating dinner because we didn't really have much of a lunch. So I'm gonna stuff you with lunch and dinner because I gotta feed the beast.
Yeah.
And then we have to go get the beast and we gotta feed him too, your brother. So
But he probably ate all of Grandma's house by now.
yeah, that's probably true too. So I happy that we were able to finally do this. I'm glad that we got to talk a bit. We got to share some of your experience. I'm sure you'll be back on more. You'll get a little more comfortable and get a little more talkative as we go as well. You're only 10. You got time. And I thank you for coming on today, sir, and sharing with the rest of the Killer Bee people a little bit of your story. Maybe somebody will hear some stuff they didn't know about you. And I love you. I'm super proud of you. The things you've done in the gym have really inspired me. I know they've inspired other people. And your commitment to things is one of the reasons why I'm so committed to the things we do. This isn't just a you and me thing. This is you, me, and everybody kind of thing. You've really brought a lot of people into the things you do. You haven't been selfish. You've been very giving, and that's the most inspiring and motivational aspect of what we do. So I appreciate you. Appreciate you very much. Again, I love you very much. And yeah, I'm very proud to show you in the gym in the way you are and say that you're my son because you represent the best of what we do, buddy.
I appreciate you for being my coach and not acting like a dad.
You know, that's a tough one. I could have a whole nother conversation, but as a dad, because it's this sport, I have to be your coach because if I'm not, you're either going to have a bad experience or you're going to get hurt. And as your dad, I need you to have a positive experience in this and get the best out of this. And I need you to stay safe. So I have to push you in a particular way. And it's not about me. It's 100% about you. I want you to feel good. And I want you to get the most out of this. So, we give each other room on that mat to do the things we have to do to be successful. So that's why Killer Bee is Killer Bee and we're not anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
On that note, I think we can call this quits here, buddy.
Okay.
So, this is the Hive Podcast. This is Brian Wright with Brian Jr. We are out.
Boom.
Boom.